Batman is easily the most adapted superhero in all of film, both live action and animated. He's been campy, he's been dark, he's been whatever this is. But in the past decade or so, we've also seen the Batman adapted into historical fiction, with films like Gotham by Gaslight that pitted the Dark Knight against one of history's most infamous serial killers, Jack the Ripper. Now, I can't say I was a fan of this movie, but I thought the initial idea of having the world's greatest detective try to catch an actual real-life monster that had never actually been caught was solid. The premise made sense for a Batman story, so why not? And then came Batman Ninja, which had our Cape Crusader teleported back to feudal Japan. Batman's practically a ninja anyway, so also why not? But then came the trailer for Aztec Batman Clash of Empires, an animated movie that would place the Dark Knight's origin story in the context of Aztec history. Now initially, I was not impressed with what I saw, and the internet seemed to have agreed with me.
Batman is being reimagined as a Aztec warrior. I'm pretty sure Batman has conflicting values with the Aztecs, in that he doesn't go around unaliving people. And the Aztecs are kind of known for the murderers.
Known as a really peaceful society. Really nice.
Loved by their fellow neighbors.
Yes.
They had great architecture, generally made out of skulls.
The only people who would root for an Aztec Batman are either completely ignorant of history or they're sociopaths who want the world to revert to barbarism.
Now, to accomplish this, the show has to literally fall over its own plot, because somehow human sacrifice does make it back into the story, but only to create the show's version of the Joker.
It's weird. The animation, I'm sorry, I don't think it looks that great. Like at times it looks okay.
For months and months, I waited for that cascade of videos that would tear this movie limb from limb, but none came. So like they say about doctors, not all heroes wear capes. Aztec Batman Clash of Empires is a movie about how Cortez destroyed the Aztec Empire with the help of other indigenous tribes who hated the Aztecs for kidnapping and sacrificing their loved ones by the tens of thousands. Oh wait, sorry, that's actual history. Aztec Batman Clash of Empires is basically Mask of Zorro, which is basically just Mexican Batman. The story tells of a young Aztec who's forced to fight the evil Spaniards after his father is murdered by that dastard Cortez. Plug in a poison ivy plant goddess, a jungle cat woman, and a high priest that needs to learn to smile more. And what you have is the worst Batman movie I have ever seen. Oh yeah, and Cortez is Two-Face now. Now I'm sure you're probably thinking, why would anyone surmise that it would be a good idea to take Batman, the most pro-life superhero of all time, and make him part of a culture that sacrificed somewhere between 10 to 80,000 people over the course of just 4 days?
Damn, I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
The answer is, it's not. But as we all know, all atrocities committed by native tribes can be ignored through the power of
imagination.
Whether it be the Powhatans of Pocahontas or the Dahomey tribe of the Woman King, or the Comanche of Prey, the indigenous are generally never allowed to be anything more than the innocent, natural-loving people who respect nature, bond with animals, and would never, and I repeat, would never engage in things like violent raids, assaults, and the transatlantic slave trade.
No, this is a movie about the Aztecs, directed and animated by the Mexican people. Surely you'd think they'd produce a far more historically accurate depiction of their oh wait, it's written by a white guy? Well, that makes this line make more sense.
Does your God approve the slaughter of women and children?
Now, all that being said, we do get one human sacrifice.
Hooray!
But it has no context in the story. It's big enough to say, hey, we did it, but still small enough to make the Aztecs not seem like total monsters. We also see blood on the steps of temples as well as a bunch of skulls in the background. But unless you know anything about Aztecs, you could just assume those were skulls from enemies that were conquered in battle. There's even a scene where they're about to sacrifice another person, but it's interrupted. History is so much more morally gray and, more importantly, interesting. Even if we were to remove all the expectations that come with most historical fiction, the characters in question still fall pretty flat. There are no interesting ideologies or conflicts, and Cortez is as subtle with his evilness as the bad guy from Disney's Pocahontas. Now, I loves me some one-dimensional villains. Agent Smith, Anton Chigurh, Gaston, Andrew Tate, but they absolutely 1000% have to be entertaining to watch. Whether it be through humor, charisma, a terrifying aura, or a combination of all three. We open on them practically already twirling their mustaches, accompanied by a literal rattlesnake sound effect.
The vast green landscape stretching out before us. It's called the New World, since we only just discovered it.
Many suns have already passed since our people first knew these lands.
10 seconds later.
You shall be our honored guest.
That is excellent. What a splendid idea.
A few moments later.
Besides, everybody loves surprises.
Well, that all depends on the surprise.
But did you get it? Did you get it?
What I hate most about these villains is that they're too racist to be effective, but not racist enough to be entertaining. There's something about a well-written racist, whether it be Calvin Candy from Django or the Arbitrage family from Get Out. Racism can be made humorous to watch without taking away its venom.
I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
The problem with the racism of these villains is that it's too Captain Planet.
What?
You gonna stop colonizing?
No, 'cause I'm evil.
And what's funnier is that these Aztecs would have given them pretty much everything if Blondie could only keep the racism in his pants.
For 5 minutes!
The people already thought they were gods, so they could have just pulled a road to El Dorado and had piles and piles of gold at their feet without firing a single shot. Just a heads up to all you aspiring writers. Don't ever make both your villains of the movie the loose cannon archetype. The straight man paired with the wild card works for a reason. And unless you understand the rules for why they work, don't break them. And while we're on the subject of breaking, let's talk about my patience with this dialogue.
Good. Now you won't be surprised when I end your terror.
It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
This glorious,
You murdered my father!
obvious,
We'd soon find their hidden metropolis.
And finally, we are here!
expositional,
Even your mother would not have blamed him. Her death was not his fault. I know how difficult it was for you after the death of your mother.
This writer had absolutely no trust in its audience's ability to understand anything without follow-up clarification. Now, I'm sure by this point you're wondering, why haven't I talked about our hero, our protagonist, our brown Batman?
So you thought he was boring?
Imagine Zorro if he were played by Sam Worthington. No presence, no charisma, no heart, and more generic than the protagonist from Tenet, whose actual name was the protagonist. His character arc is very surface level.
I want you to train me to become the greatest warrior that the world has ever known. I'm going to stop Cortez and his soldiers.
And surprisingly, unfulfilled. He gets beaten or outsmarted throughout pretty much the entire movie.
I can't seem to recall.
Ugly short guy. Pathetic little gay guy.
Chill out, Mom. I'm gay too.
Oh, honey, I didn't mean it like that. I meant gay as in stupid and bad.
They also had him, an Aztec, say these words out loud.
Does your God approve the slaughter of women and children?
The absolute audacity of this writer. No, the balls to have an Aztec judge someone for slaughtering innocent people. The Aztecs not only slaughtered tens of thousands of men,
But the women and the children too.
just to appease their gods. Now, originally, I thought I could take all the historically twisted white devil propaganda, but truly, I was not prepared for the near Super Saiyan levels of bullshit this movie was trying to pass as morality.
Did you just refer to me as White Devil? This how they knew you.
I assumed I'd get something more like The Woman King, where a tribe of African slave traders are depicted as heroes because some white lady in Hollywood saw only 4 words: all black female warriors.
Shut up and take my money!
The movie, for the most part, ignored all that slavery stuff and just showed the women kicking ass because Hollywood. But what they, at the very least, did not do was have the main characters lecture the bad guys on the horrid evils of slavery. As a wise man once said, you can't be called a hypocrite if you never point out anyone else's faults. Now, while this film is pretty much a complete dud, there is a path that could have been taken with both cultures' religions that harbored rich storytelling potential. In the movie, both sides bring up their deities a lot. On one side, you have the Aztec king constantly asking for guidance from the gods. And on the other, you have Cortez using the spreading of Christianity as a reason for his conquest. Grappling with the why and how religions are used to justify conquest and human sacrifice could have been a fascinating watch. But I guess that would have been too balanced to take given the fact that the Aztecs are supposed to be the good guys?
The victim was tied to a wooden frame and transformed into living prey. Warriors fired arrows until his heart was pierced, ensuring success in the hunt.
Now, to keep this review from being a complete massacre, the animation can be quite beautiful at times, and I really love some of the character designs, especially on the Aztec gods. The action also has its moments, but it does feel very flat. I noticed how a lot of the fights are staged on a profile angle. The movements, while smooth, are also very stuck in the middle ground. Nothing really comes out of the camera, nor do they stage the action on dynamic angles. Now, perhaps there's a foreshortened limitation to the flash animation style they're using, or maybe it's just a limitation of the artist. It's a strange feeling when a movie almost completely meets your expectations. I honestly didn't even think we were going to get human sacrifices, so kudos to the creators for even being this honest. But every other point of my apprehension was met, and then some. Now, with all that being said, I wish we could just address the realities of history like adults. None of this coddling of the indigenous as if they're these near morally pure beings that have never participated in the atrocities we love to generally, solely, lay at the feet of
White devil, white devil? Yes, you speak what you do.
If you want to play in the sandbox of history with superheroes, then do it like Wonder Woman. Or just create an entire alternate history like Watchmen. But if there's one lesson I want to leave you with, it's that brown people can be genocidal maniacs too.